Today, I'm going to speak about the client centricity and the role of business analysts in the emerging opportunities, I would say. As all of you know, the market is changing outside. The way the consumers are using all of the technology that's available, and the way the clients are deploying technology is changing very significantly. Therefore, there's a role for the business analysts in making themselves relevant in this new space. Okay? And that's going to be broadly what I'm going to speak about. I will try and speak about this in 3 sections. The first one talks about the trends, the growth of IT industry, then the trends that we see outside, and the last section. Okay, my voice is not loud enough. Can you at the back hear me? Okay, there it is. That's good. And the last section will speak about how do we come together, the 3 entities that Ashish spoke about, the companies, the agencies like NASSCOM, and the bodies like IIB. How do we come together to make sure that we build the right capability in this country so that we stay relevant as we move forward? I certainly feel that we are in a very unique and advantageous position as a country to take the leading position and be a trusted advisor to our clients in this emerging space. You know, many of you would know that when companies started doing outsourcing or offshoring several years ago, the core of the capability still sat outside India. They were sitting in the US or the Europe or any of the other developed worlds, and we were doing some of the lower end of the work. But when you look at the emerging technologies, I think we have a very even balance, or maybe even the strength actually sits here. So that's why I say that India as a country has a very unique and advantageous position, and we need to make sure that we bring all of the building blocks together so that we continue to grow and build on that strength. The people at the back can read this one. Sometimes I wonder why we make presentations that are so difficult for people to read. But nevertheless, this is the text that I have, so I'm trying to speak about this one. For those who can't read at the back, I think you'll have to just rely on what I speak. Now, this slide illustrates the journey of the IT industry over the last 20 years or so. I won't spend a whole lot of time on this one, but just to highlight a few points. In the early 90s, when offshoring first started, I think a lot of clients came towards India more because they were looking for specific cost advantage in running operations that are not mission critical, right? And then we move on to the late 90s, where I think the scale of the Indian IT industry started increasing. The companies that are looking towards India were giving us smaller projects to execute, and then industrialization and productivity started coming into the picture. As we move ahead in the timeline, we see that the scale that is offered by the Indian companies, when I say Indian companies, the companies operating in India, that's not necessarily just the TCS and the Infosys and other companies, but all of the IT service providers operating in India. I think the models that we had in terms of delivering services to our clients sitting globally continue to be linear models. I was talking to one of my friends who's a managing director in Credit Suisse, and he said, I think it's a couple of months ago, we were driving in our car, and he said the revenue of IT companies operating in India is proportional to the number of bathrooms in the companies. Okay? And what he meant basically is that if you're a good company and if you're assuming that you build a good office, the ratio of the bathrooms you have to the number of people who are working is possibly uniform. There must be some sort of a standard. And then all of the models that we have at that point in terms of generating revenue is directly proportional to the number of people we had in the company.